Good morning, folks. Happy Thursday to y'all. Hope everybody's having a good Thursday. We've got pretty good bunch of folks already over here in the chat. Let's see who we got. We got Hobbies out there this morning. How you doing? Art Bixel in the house. We got Larry Galt in the house. Kevin Els. Good morning to you, Kevin. Steve Gronsky. Good morning, Steve. Good morning, Hitch from sunny Florida. Jeff Nearcorn watching over on Facebook this morning. How you doing? Good morning, Trish Doss. I don't know if I'm saying that right or not, I guess. Let's see. It was LB, I think. Yeah, I think that's what he said, LB. Good morning to you. Eddie Hall watching over on the tubes this morning. Mike Haichu. Welcome. Good to see y'all. Well, it's Thursday. We're 2 weeks away, 14 days away from Thanksgiving. So looking forward to that. Got Rusty Taylor in the house this morning. How are you, Rusty? Brian Sanders. Good morning from New Mexico. Earl Walker. Good morning, Earl. How you doing? Yeah, 2 weeks from today is Thanksgiving. Probably one of my favorite holidays as far as food's concerned. And let's see, we got 41 more days until Christmas. So, yeah, it's going to be here before you know it. So I hope everybody's ready for that. I watched the news this morning. Not a whole lot going on. I know it's supposed to start raining here around 5 or 6 o'clock. So I'm going to try to run and get a haircut. I think I'm getting a little shaggy. So I'll try to run and get a haircut and get back home before it starts raining. And, also, we do this as Throwback Thursday. So I've got some old pictures that I'll be sharing with y'all a little later. And I think it was Jeff Nearcorn, I believe is the one. He was asking me right at the end of the show yesterday if I had any other hobbies besides CNC. So I'll be talking a little bit about that too. Yeah, Javi says, haircut? What's the strange word you use? Yeah, he probably wouldn't know anything about that. But Larry says he can't wait for December 26th. Yeah, all that'll be here. I mean, it'll be New Year's before you know it. Let's see, New Year's Day's on Wednesday this year, so New Year's Eve's on a Tuesday, so yeah, all that'll be here before you know it. So anybody got anything on their mind they want to talk about, gripe about? We don't talk politics. I don't even want to get started on all that craziness that's going on in Washington the past few days. It's just craziness, but we'll let them all argue and bicker and figure it out. We'll about this time next year we'll get to have our say. So anyway, let's see here. LB says I had to break out my swimsuit yesterday. Got in the high 50s. Okay, had to be a little warmer than that for me, I think. But yeah, I think Jeff was he's in the house here this morning, so I'll go over some of my past hobbies. I've had a lot of them because I'm the type person that it's hard for me to get a hobby and really stick with it because um, it's just the way I'm wired. I don't, something new and shiny comes along, and then I'm off on that. So uh, I don't stick with one thing. But CNC stuff is about the only thing I've stuck with, and it's only because I really enjoy that, and of course that's how I make my living. So um, that's one reason why I've stuck with that. But yeah, like most guys, when I was you know a young kid, I always enjoyed building model cars, planes, ships. Um, One time, I think probably the biggest model I ever built was of the Saturn V rocket with the Apollo 11 thing. It stood probably 3 or 4 foot tall. So just like a lot of kids, you get the old Testor's glue out and make some models. So that was probably one of my first hobbies. When I got a little older, I took up golf. Uh, my ex brother-in-law kind of got me started playing golf, and I never was very good at it, but I always enjoyed it. I like being outdoors, and golf courses are just immaculate anyway, most of them. So it was always fun just to get out and soak all that in. But I still have the same old clubs. I think when I was like 21, 21 years old, I bought myself a brand new set of Wilson K28. So they're by today's standards, they're very outdated. The woods are actually wood, where nowadays they're all made out of some kind of titanium or something. So, but yeah, I used to play golf, and that's one of those things you have to do, pretty regular to get any good at it, because a lot of it's a mental game anyway. But at one point, I was working a job where I was off on Wednesdays in the middle of the week, and another friend of mine had a similar job and was off on Wednesday, so we would meet and play golf once a week. And you get, like I said, I never say I was good. I just sucked a whole lot less because I played regular. And I enjoyed playing. It's fun to play if you can tell you're improving and stuff like that. But I don't play anymore. And a few years back, Barbara said, "Hey, let's go hit some golf balls or something." So I'm like, oh, okay, So we went to a place, and each got a bucket of balls, and started hitting them on the range. And I'm thinking, yeah, now I remember why I quit golf. It's because I suck at it. So, but anyway, that was the last time I've had a golf club in my hands. Another thing I did when my son was, and I'm going to consider this a hobby. It was really more of a money pit. But, when my son was around 10, and that was actually a late start for us. He used to love NASCAR racing. Well, we both did, and we would always watch NASCAR races. Well, one day we were watching a documentary on Jeff Gordon, and they were talking about how he started out in California running quarter midgets. And I'm like, that's cool, but what is a quarter midget? And they showed old film of him driving around a track in a quarter midget. And I thought, well, I wonder if there's any of those around here. So I looked it up and found out there was a track. It's no longer there now, but at the time it was in Marietta, over by the jail. And we went over there, and man, that track was real. They're all basically the same length, but some of them are flat, some of them are banked more. This one was like a little mini Bristol. It was like a little chili bowl. And man, those little cars flying around there. And then when they get out, the kids would be like, knee high or something. I was so impressed with the way those kids could drive those things. And of course, Clint just went crazy when he saw them. And I'm like, okay, well, we'll see if we can get you a car. So, a little time went by, and I ended up buying a used car from somebody who was buying a newer one and getting rid of their old one. And we got into the quarter midget racing and did that for, I guess, a couple of years. Like I said, it's fun. I mentioned in one of the other coffee sessions about how when I watch NASCAR now, a lot of those names are kids that we used to race with or see all the time at some of these quarter midget events. Joey Logano in particular, Justin Allgaier, Mark Martin used to have a kid. I think his kid's name was Matt, and I don't know if he's still running or not, but all of them, we used to see him at the track. So did that for a while, and finally outgrew that. And then with some other life events that happened to me, I started playing around building CBGs, or cigar box guitars. And that's kind of a hobby where I'm either hot or cold on. I get a renewed interest, and I'll build a bunch of them, and then it kind of gets old and I'll wait, and then I come back, but do that kind of thing. But so I've done that off and on, and those are a lot of fun to build. I can't play worth a flip, but they're a lot of fun to build, and I love building one and giving it to somebody and see them tear it up, picking on it. So, and of course, when I started into the CNC thing, it kind of went right along with woodworking. And I've always kind of dabbled around because my dad always had some tools and stuff. But a lot of it was old hand tools, which I still have that were passed down to me. But, when I started buying other woodworking tools, a decent table saw and band saw and miter saw and all that stuff, you start doing different kinds of woodworking. And of course, a lot of folks like to use a lathe, or what they call a wood turner. So I got a lathe and started playing around, went through the usual things where, everybody starts out and you get pin kits and you turn pins. Then you move on to bottle stoppers and, different little things. And then maybe you do some bowls. And I like using a lathe, but it's one of those things where it never did just, this is it. This is what I want to do. It's like, okay, pins, I've done that. Bottle stoppers, I've done that. And, it just never held my interest. So I do like the bowls more than anything, the segmented turning. But that takes a lot of time. And most of the time I don't have the time to do a long, lengthy project like that. But and then I know somebody mentioned here, where was it? LB, I guess, says get into 3D printing, lots of fun. No, been there, done that. I bought a Creality CR10 3D printer and then did a video on it. And shortly after I did the video on it, a company contacted me and says, hey, we want to send you an Ender 3, if you'll do a review video. So they sent me an Ender 3. So then I went from having 1 to 2. And, it's kind of a money pit too, because you end up buying a lot of filament, different colors and different types and all that stuff. And I made a lot of little things and stuff, but I just don't, so many people get those things. This is where I always get in trouble when I start talking about 3D printing. You always see grown men out there making, Darth Vaders and Millennial Falcons and basically what I call toys. So I don't see that many people using them to really make something worthwhile. They're out there, but I just don't see it. So I got tired of that, and they were just sitting around. I wasn't using them, so I sold both of those and all my filament. Gave somebody a great deal on that, and because I'd only had those a few months. But the only thing I did like about 3D printing is because I've done 3D modeling for so long, it was nice to be able to model something in 3D and then bring it into the slicing program and run it through there and then actually make it. But I mean, everything takes forever to make. If you want to make it really good quality, you have to run it slow. And that's just not me. I didn't like it. And by the time, even if you did make something perfect, it was plastic, and we don't need more plastic. So anyway, yeah, 3D printing came and went, and that was it. So that's pretty much That's pretty much the hobbies that I've had over the years. And like I said, CNC now is not just a hobby. It's I guess you could say it's kind of a passion. I like, it's the one thing that I always like doing. I run mine. I have 3 of them right now that I can run, and I usually run in one of those 3 at least almost every day. So it's they're just so much fun, and because of the way I make them, where I design them and build them myself, and when you're out there running something, you go, yeah, I not only designed that project that I'm making, but I designed and built the machine that made it, so I always get a lot of satisfaction out of that, knowing that, and especially with the Gatton CNC and the GarageWorks CNC, and well, really any of them that I've designed and sold over the years, it's nice to know that there's folks out there that are, running a machine every day that's something that I designed and built. So take a lot of pride in that, I think. Let's see. I'm missing a bunch of comments here. Let's see what we got here. Let me scroll back up and see what I've missed. Jeff Nearcorn says, so you're like Tiger. Well, he's a little better than I am at golf. See, Javi says 78 degrees in Miami, coolest it's been in years. Can't wait to go back up to Central Florida where the real cold is. Yeah, it's not so bad today. I think when I looked at my phone earlier, it said it was 37, but again, it's a little breezy, so the wind chill is like 32. But I think it's going to warm on up. Jim Jones over there watching on Facebook, he says, do you remember sinking model ships with BB gun in Western Heights Pond? I don't remember that. I don't know if I ever did that. I may have. If you refresh my memory, I don't know. Jeff says, did I ever get a hole in one? No, I remember one time I was playing and I hit a shot, and it was where the green was up on a hill where I could see the top of the pin, but I couldn't really see the hole. And I thought from the trajectory, yeah, easy for me to say, right? The path of the ball. I'm not even going to try to say that word. Let me get some more coffee first. Yeah, the path of the ball. I could tell it was, going to be close unless it was a really hard green and it run off. And then when I, got up to the green, I was like, about a foot away. And that's probably the closest I've ever been to holing one out or something. It says it's 40 here in Warner Robins. Mark Lindsay, CNC in the house. How you doing this morning, Mark? Troy Pritchett. Pritchard, I'm sorry, Troy Pritchard, in the house this morning. Avi says, I used to race go-karts in my early teens. We'd reach speeds of 80 to 110 on the straightaway. Good times, yeah. Love drag racing. I like watching drag racing. It's like any kind of racing. It's all a money pit. I can remember when we were doing the quarter midget thing, whenever they would have a big race and they had, because they had races every weekend, but what I call a big race would be like they had one called the Dogwood thing or the, they had different names for some of the regional type races where people like Joey Logano would come down from Connecticut or something like that. And, a lot of those guys, I mean, they had, their daddies were rich and they'd pull up in these haulers and we're talking quarter midgets, but they'd have nice rigs and nice big trailers and stuff. So what we'd do is at the end of the event, we'd go around to all the trash cans. They had these 55-gallon drums that were out in the, in the parking lot where all these rigs were parked. And, here we were just in my little Ranger pickup with a utility trailer hauling ours. Well, we go out there after the thing, after everybody left, and we dig through the 55-gallon drums because a lot of those guys that had money, they'd buy tires and they'd run them a couple of races, and then they'd throw them away, and we'd get them out and take the old heat gun, get the rubber stuff burn off of them, and that's how we race with everybody else's tires. But yeah, it's all that stuff's a money pit. It's hard to, you gotta have a lot of money for that. He says, I gave it up to buy a house that I had to give up to the ex-wife. Yeah, got that. He says, I built my printer 9 years ago, still use it often, making useful parts, not toys. Well, good. I'm glad to hear somebody's making useful parts. And there are some folks, there's some folks. But again, the thing I don't like is even when you make a useful part, it's a plastic part. And I would much rather make stuff out of aluminum or steel or wood or something like that. Bart says, I made some small replacement window clips for my 74 Apache pop-up trailer. Needless to say, they could not be purchased anywhere. It was very satisfying. Yeah, that's one thing that's really handy about those things because, so many things you buy, they have plastic parts on them. But, either you can't get them because they don't make it anymore, or they want to sell you a whole big sub-assembly of something, and all you need is that one little piece that broke or something. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Great for my CNC parts. I don't know what kind of CNC parts you would want plastic, but okay. Clyde Labonte's in the house this morning. Good morning. He says he's late today. That's okay. No rush. Larry Galt says made lots of stuff but never made a toy. Okay. That's what hobbies are all about. Satisfaction. Yep. Yeah. Mark says, I'm with you there, Dave. I didn't design it, but I built it. I take a lot of pride in it too. Yeah. As everybody should, because I mean, I can guarantee you not everybody can do it. So if you're able to build one, even if it's one of mine, Jim Jones says, I worked for the Arca Truck Series a few years ago before they went by the wayside. Yeah, I remember seeing, when I first started seeing you on Facebook, I remember seeing a lot of pictures from that truck series. Trace says, now you can get much stronger than plastic nylon X. Okay. I'll take your word for it because nobody's going to sell me on 3D printers anymore. I've been there, done that. And if I want to get making parts, I'll either use my router to cut aluminum or I'll buy a mill and cut the real stuff. So don't have time to wait for a 3D printer. George Rothfuss says, good AM from the snow-covered north. Charles Steed's in the house. Man, we're getting an awesome crew over here. Look what happens when you leave the door open. Jerry Blakesley snuck in. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you on here. Ryan Ballard's late to the party. I actually, when I first thought about doing these little coffee sessions, well, oh man, I hate that you're sick, Jerry. Get well soon, buddy. Yeah, me too, Mark. He says, I'm really resisting the urge to build a teardrop trailer, but it ain't easy. Yeah, I can tell you right now, if I had room in either a shop or my garage, I would already be building one. But right now I'm going to have to wait until nicer weather and try to make enough room in my garage where I can push it in and then pull it out. So maybe next year I'll do that. David Crook says, you're not as late as me, Ryan. Hobby's doing the Jerry chant. Want to be able to teardrop too. Yeah, those things are cool. It's another one of those projects that I have drawn one up. I've got so many things that I've drawn up and 3D modeled that I never built. Whenever I kick the bucket and if somebody spends time going through my computer and my hard drives and all this different stuff I've got, they're going to go, wow, that's cool. Wonder why you never built that. Because there's going to be a ton of things, just a ton of things that I never got around to doing. Let's see, we're almost at 30 minutes here, so it's time to do the throwback. Hey, now there's an idea. Jerry says we can do a collab and build it at my shop. Now you got me thinking there, Jerry. I drew one up too. Yeah, I've designed so many trailers and campers that isn't funny. Yeah, you're like me. You spend all the hours and hours drawing them up and designing them, and then you don't ever build them. But I will one day. Jimbo Burt's in the house over on Facebook, says taking a coffee break. Well, this is the right place then, Jim. That's what we do. All right, I've already got my screen share turned on here. Let me get some throwback pictures. And these pictures I picked out, these are especially for my friends up north. Or the folks that okay, I wanted to open up over here. Okay, so I've got the first picture lined up, and like I said, these are for my friends up north. We'll go through some of these old pictures for Throwback Thursday. So here's the first one. This, all you guys up north know what this stuff is. This is a picture of my dad standing up on a huge pile of snow. You can see my dad was probably about, he was a little shorter than I am. He was maybe 5'5" or 5'6", something like that. But you can see that down when I move the mouse over here, down here in this corner where the cursor is, that's the driveway. So that's how much snow we had to shovel and throw to the side there. And I'm not sure what year that was. This is another shot here. This is looking down the driveway. And again, you can see this huge pile of snow right here and another one on the other side of the driveway. That was one of the worst snows we had while I lived up there anyway. Let me find another picture here. All right, here's a picture of yours truly. And I'm standing on the big pile. I don't know, that's probably 4 or 5 feet high. And I'm probably about, I don't know, maybe 8 or 10 years old. I don't really have any idea. I'd have to find, you can tell this picture's been scanned, and I would have to find the original picture and see if maybe somebody wrote a date or something on the back of it. So I don't really know, but if I was 10 years old, then that would be 1966, somewhere around in there, mid 60s, I guess. Let's see if I got any more. I think I had one more. Yeah, this is, again, this is my dad. And here you can see the wind was really blowing because you can see this huge snow drift around here where I'm putting the cursor. And the reason I'm guessing my age is I can't really get a good look at that car that's in the garage. If anybody can see and tell me what that is, I'll go with that because I can't tell exactly what it is. But looking at this basketball goal, I can tell that that's before I got a better goal, because that's just a piece of plywood, and that goal there was only set at about 8 foot. So that's how I'm guessing this snow happened when I was still probably 8 or 10 years old, because later on I got a better goal and it was moved up to 10 feet, which is the regulation height. So, and just to show, so that was all in Danville, Indiana, what I've been showing you here. And then I've got one more picture here that's, well, wait, I'll do that one later. I'll do that one last. Let me get, okay, now this is a picture to show everybody that we actually do get snow here in Georgia. This is, this picture's taken right out my back door. And you can see there's probably a good, I don't know, 3-4 inches of wet snow on my patio table out there. And that's probably one of the worst snows we've had, I guess, since I've been living down in Georgia. I think I got a couple of more here. Yeah, here's a picture I took from the front of my house, and it was a winter wonderland right here, right here in Georgia. So, so yeah, we don't get it very often. Here's a picture of the back of the house. This picture isn't very good; it looks kind of blurry, but you can see from the deck railing there. There's a good, probably 3 or 4 inches of snow sitting on there. So yeah, we do get snow in Georgia. And of course, I know y'all don't really want to watch or look at snow pictures, especially if you're already getting snow up there. So this is a picture of yours truly taken, I don't know when. So sometime it was in Florida somewhere. But yeah, me and looks like I got 2 or 3 pairs of sunglasses there. And I don't know what the deal is with the basket, but anyway. nice and warm there. So, all righty. Well, that's this Thursday's Throwback Thursday. Let's see if I missed any comments. He says the last bad snow was in 78. Yeah. Jim Jones, and we probably still went to school. Yeah, we probably did. Probably did. There was a big blizzard in January 65. Well, that might be what year it was. Might be. I don't know. Todd says, nice deck. Yeah, when I first bought this house, it had like I don't know. It was maybe an 8x12 deck or something like that. And for some reason, I always wanted a big deck. And I built it in kind of two phases because my deck goes the whole back of the house. And now I wished I hadn't built it so big because there's a lot of trees. Towards the back of my lot is like, it's just like being in the woods. And every freaking leaf that falls off lands on my deck. So it's a constant chore to try to keep stuff swept off of it. So big deck maybe wasn't such a good idea. No, I'm not dreaming of one, but if it happens, I don't care. I'm where I don't have to get out and commute to work anymore. So I don't care. You can I can't say that saying this is a family show. So I'm not going to say what I was going to say, but it's something deep to a 9-foot Indian. I'll let you fill in the blank there. All right. Yeah, the timer's off. Let's see. Look up. You have a very special visitor. I don't know what that means. I don't know what I don't know what that's about, Jerry. But anyway, I'm gonna wrap this one up. Thank you guys for tuning in for the Throwback Thursday edition of the Coffee Sessions. We'll be here tomorrow, 0900, Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. So everybody have a good day, and we will see you. We will see you all tomorrow.